Hi everyone, today in our Soulful Slow Flow, our practice is going to be all about honoring the changes that are happening on and off of the mat. You may need 2 blocks for this practice, and we'll get started. Okay, so today we're going to get started in a comfortable seated position. Whatever that means for you. Maybe that's legs crossed out in front of you. Maybe that's legs out in staff pose, long. Or maybe that's sitting back onto your heels. So finding what feels good for you today. And then closing your eyes, placing your palms face up or face down in your lap. And just taking a few moments to root yourself in this moment. Noticing, feeling how the spine is stacking onto itself. Bringing the pelvis to come heavy down towards the ground as we reach up with the crown of the head. And taking some time to notice your breath. How does your breath feel within your body today? And as you inhale, breathing in through the nose, directing the breath down into the belly, filling it up and out like a balloon as we expand through the sides of the rib cage, the chest, the throat. Exhaling, releasing slowly back out through the nose, bringing the belly button back towards the spine, releasing the chest. Finding your inhale again, breathing down into the belly, sides of the ribs, chest, throat. Exhaling, releasing fully back out of the body. And as we move back and forth between these inhales and exhales, just starting to notice that slight pause that you feel at the top of your inhale and at the bottom of your exhale. That space in between the breath. And just taking a moment to create awareness around that space, around that place before you feel the change. As we move through our practice today, we'll be talking about honoring the change. Maybe there is a life event that is happening right now. Maybe there's a seasonal change. Maybe we just start to create awareness between the changes of our mat, that in-between space of our poses. Taking one more full round of breath here. And slowly blinking the eyes back open. We're going to take our feet and stack our right foot in front of the left. So we're still seated here. We're just bringing that right heel to come right in front of your left toes. And when you feel that alignment in the feet, we're going to bring our hands forward, coming up onto the fingertips. Inhale, chest pulls forward, and as we exhale, just gently walk the hands forward. Every inhale lengthening, every exhale releasing. Just gentle, soft movements, allowing the breath to help you move and not forcing anything within the body. Next, inhale, we'll walk the hands back up, bring the head to stack on top of the heart, and then we'll lengthen the right leg out to the side. Left foot comes onto the inside of the leg. As we inhale, arms rise up and overhead, slightly twist, and then exhale, fold over the right leg. And your hands can come either to the sides of the feet, maybe they just lay gently onto the sides of the leg, or the front of the shin. Finding what feels good for you this morning. As we inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Again, just noticing that space between the breath. A gentle space at the top of the inhale. And that releasing at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, rise back up to center. Left hand is going to come in line with your left hip, fingertips point back. And then your right hand is going to start to sweep forward as we lift the hips, roll to the front of your left shin, and come into a baby wild thing here. Right hand reaches back behind you. You can look towards your right fingertips if that feels okay in your neck. Otherwise, you can look straight up. What do you feel within your body here? Breathe into the spaces that feel like they're lengthening and opening. Exhale, releasing back down. And we'll move over to the other side. So the left foot is going to stack in line with the right. Coming up onto the fingertips, inhale, chest forward, exhale, start to walk the hands. Feeling length and space between the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head, and then releasing into the fold, still keeping that length. Inhale, walking back up. And the left leg will come out to the side this time. Right foot comes in. Inhale, arms rise up. Slightly twist and exhale, fold here. Maintaining a flex within your left foot. And gently releasing through the right knee as we exhale as well. Inhale, rise. Right hand comes to the outside of the right hip as we start to sweep the left fingertips forward and back, lift the hips. Start to bring the left sole of the foot down onto the ground. Creating awareness within the changes of the body. Those subtle differences that you feel from one pose to the next. Exhale, release back down. We'll make our way into tabletop from here. So your hands are going to stack underneath your shoulders. Knees are going to stack underneath the hips. As we inhale, right arm reaches up to the sky. And as we exhale, we're going to thread the right hand behind the left arm as we come into thread the needle. So you're going to come to the top of your right shoulder, right ear comes down onto the mat, hips are lifted. And gently press into the left hand as we rotate the right rib cage up to the sky, coming into a gentle twist. On your next inhale, start to unwind, bringing the right fingertips back up to the sky, feeling that subtle change in the shoulder. And as we exhale, release the right hand down, moving to the other side. Left arm reaches up, and exhale, thread it through. And you keep that right hand right underneath your right elbow as you press into the earth. Coming back up through center, left arm reaches up to the sky. And exhale, release the hand back down. We're going to walk the hands slightly forward so we create an angle within the arms. And shifting the weight forward, we're going to inhale, lift and lengthen into our cow pose. So tailbone rises, gaze lifts. And as we exhale, we're going to round through the spine and shift back into a child's pose. So your knees can stay exactly where they are. Forehead releases down towards the mat. Inhale, coming back up into our cow. And exhale, rounding and pulling back into our child's pose. Follow the rhythm of your breath. One more round here. Coming back up through center, we're going to move on. Start to shift the weight forward so that your shoulders are now stacked on top of the wrists. Exhale, lower all the way down onto the belly. And as we inhale, rise up into your baby cobra. So heart shines forward, shoulder blades roll down the back. And then as we exhale, we'll release down. Inhale, rise back up into your cobra. And exhale, release back down. Engage the muscles in your legs by lifting on your kneecaps. Inhale, reach up. Chest rises forward. And exhale, release back down. We'll start to pull back into our tabletop again, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, and moving into downward facing dog. So you can pedal your feet back and forth here. You can also shift your hips from side to side. Maybe moving back and forth between your down dog and your plank. Finding your pose here today, your variation for your body. And coming into stillness, we'll look in between the hands, walking the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway into your flat back, crown the head reaches forward. And as we exhale, forward fold. So in this forward fold, you can bend your knees as much as you'd like, keeping your hands either on the ground or grabbing opposite elbows as you gently sway the hips from side to side. Releasing the back of the neck, crown of the head. The changes, whether we're facing some change outside of the mat or even just noticing the change in this pose in our bodies. There can be a little bit of discomfort, there can be a little bit of feeling afraid, not knowing what's going to happen. So if you feel any tension within your body, any stress that you can let go of here, just allowing it to melt off of the body, out of the mind, down into the earth below you. On your next exhale, releasing the hands down. And as we inhale, rolling up the spine, nice and slowly, allowing the crown of the head to come up last. And feeling rooted within your feet, you start to move the arms back and forth here. And if you like, you can start to turn your head back, looking behind you. And you can stay here, or you can start to move at a faster pace. Maybe gently patting yourself on the back. Really releasing the shoulders, the neck. Start to add little movements in here. If you want to do a little shoulder roll as you move the arms back and forth. Releasing the head a little more. And just really letting go. Letting go of any inhibitions that you have. Just finding some playfulness within your practice. Starting to gently make your way back to the top of the mat, slowing down. And coming back into your mountain pose. Palms are facing forwards. And just take a breath here, noticing any subtle changes within the body. And as we inhale, arms rise up and overhead, looking up towards your fingertips. As we exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back behind you, release your left knee down. Coming into a low lunge stance here, ankle is stacked underneath the knee in the front, and you can keep your hands on the ground. If you would like, you can also take your blocks and place them on whatever height is most comfortable for you. Bringing the chest forward, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. Bringing the pelvis to come heavy towards the floor. Inhale, and as we exhale, start to pull the hips back and move into a half splits. So again, you can just keep your blocks in your hands and shift them back with you. You can also bring your hands onto the ground. Toes point up to the sky. Left hip pulls forward to meet the right. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. And we'll start to move back and forth between our low lunge and our half splits here. So you can use your blocks to glide with you. Inhale forward and exhale back. Using your breath and the connection to your breath to help you move. Taking one more round here. And coming back into your low lunge. We'll start to bring the right foot out towards the right edge of your mat so that both of your hands are now onto the inside of the right foot. You start to pull the left leg back as much as you would like. Bringing the left ankle in line with the knee. And you can stay onto your blocks here. Maybe you want to stack one on top of the other, bringing your hands on top of them. You can also come down onto your forearms. So you can use the blocks to come down on here, or you can come all the way down towards the mat. So noticing what is happening in your body today. Our bodies change from day to day, moment to moment. So maybe yesterday you decided not to use blocks, and today you are. And it is all okay. It is all good within our bodies. Just breathing into the change, breathing into the challenge. Taking it one breath at a time. Inhaling, coming back up onto the hands if you aren't already here. And if you have your blocks, you can release them to the top of the mat. Tuck the left toes under, lift the back knee, and start to pull the right leg back into your plank. We're going to roll to the inner edge of our right foot, outer edge of our left foot. Start to bring the weight into your left hand as we reach the right hand up to the sky. Lifting the right hip up. And then exhale, bring the right hand down and lower all the way down onto the belly. Coming back into your cobra. Inhale, heart shines forwards. And exhale, pull back into your downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, walking the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. And come back into your strong, steady mountain. Close your eyes. Just noticing, creating awareness between those differences from one side to the other in the body. Without judging it as good or bad. Just noticing. Inhale, blinking the eyes back open. Arms rise up and overhead. On your exhale, we're going to twist open to the right. Coming into your T-shaped arms, maybe looking back behind you. Inhale, come back to center, palms touch. Exhale, twist over to the left. Inhale, back to center, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And on your next exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back. We're coming back into our low lunge or Anjaneyasana. So find your adjustments, making little movements within the body. And maybe using your blocks here as we inhale, heart forward. Taking another breath. And on your exhale, we'll start to shift the hips back and come into our half splits. When we draw that left hip bone back a little bit, we can feel that length through the leg, helping us to fold a little easier. Moving back and forth with your breath. Inhaling, low lunge. And exhaling, half splits. You know where you're going within this change. So just allowing yourself to fully be here within your breath, within your body, within these movements. Once you come back into your low lunge, you start to release the blocks as we bring the left foot out towards the left edge of the mat, coming into our lizard pose. Find whatever variation you did on the other side. Start to make your way there. Taking your time. And toes can remain forward, or they can point a little bit out to the sides in your front foot. You can also roll to the outer edge of your left foot, lifting the sole of the foot off of the ground. Finding the space in between your inhales and exhales. Inhaling back up onto the hands. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Tucking the right toes under, lift the back knee, left foot gently makes its way back behind you into your plank. Rolling to the outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left foot. We'll start to lift the left hand up to the sky. Just come into a variation of side plank. And exhale, release the left hand down, coming all the way down onto the belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, releasing back down, coming into your downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath here. Noticing, feeling, being right here. Inhaling, right leg rises up and back behind you. Bend in the knee, open up the hip here. So think about rolling that right hip up to the sky. Finding evenness between both hands. And we'll start to lengthen that right leg back behind us. Right hip bone comes down towards the ground. We'll bring the right foot in between the hands and then spiral down the back heel so you have a heel to arch alignment in the feet. Deep bend in the front knee. Inhale up into your warrior 2. And you can adjust your feet a little bit here. Take your time. Looking over your right fingertips. Feeling that openness of the right knee. If your knee's coming in towards your big toe, gently bring it out towards your pinky toe. And as you inhale, arms are going to rise up and overhead, lengthening through the front leg, palms touch. Exhale, come back into your warrior 2. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhaling, allowing yourself to be right here. Before we exhale, come back into warrior 2. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release back down into the hips. Right palm flips up, left hand comes down onto the back leg as we reverse our warrior. Right arm reaches up, lengthening through the right side of the body. Maybe look it up towards your right hand. Feeling that length from your right hip crease all the way up to your fingertips. Breathing into that space that's opening. And as we exhale, we're going to come into our extended side angle. So you can take your right forearm, place it on top of your right thigh as your left arm reaches forward to frame the left ear. Finding that deep bend in your front knee. Right rib cage rolls up to the sky, releasing that left shoulder down the back. And we're going to move back and forth between our reverse warrior and our extended side angle with our breath. Inhaling into your reverse warrior. And exhaling into your extended side angle. Let all the breath release from your lungs before you inhale and come back up into your reverse warrior. Come to the top of the inhale. And then exhale into your extended side angle. Inhale, warrior 2. We're going to straighten through the front leg and then bring both feet to point towards the left edge of your mat. Hands are going to come onto your hips. As you inhale, lengthen the chest up to the sky, look up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips first. And then allowing the crown of the head to come down towards the ground. Hands come down onto the mat. You can widen your stance a little bit here if you'd like. Toes point forward, or toes can come slightly in as heels come slightly out. You can stay here. You can also use a block to stack your hands on top of. Or you can start to walk the heels of your hands back in line with the heels of your feet. Stacking your elbows on top of your wrists and releasing the crown of the head down towards the ground. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Left hand stays, right arm reaches up to the sky. And on your exhale, release the right hand down. Inhale, left arm reaches up. And exhale, release the hand back down. Right toes are going to point forwards. As we walk the hands to frame the front foot, come up onto your back toes. Just take a moment here. Feel your body in this transition. And as you exhale, pull the right foot back. And you can come all the way down onto your belly. You can also come into Chaturanga here, elbows in line with the rib cage. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog, pressing into the tops of the feet, lifting the knees off of the ground. And exhale, downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side. Left foot reaches up to the sky. Bend in the knee, open up the hip here. So as you roll that left hip up, you're also thinking about pulling your right heel down towards the mat. And left leg lengthens, so bring that left foot in between the hands. Release the right heel down, coming into your warrior two. Rooting through the soles of the feet, feeling the muscles wrap around the bones in the legs as we use our core to help us lift and come up into this warrior two stance. Feel your body here. And as we inhale, lengthen the first leg and the hands up to the sky. As we exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach back up. And exhale, come back down. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, warrior two. Flip the left palm up. Right hand comes down. Reverse through your warrior. So reverse warrior is usually one of those transitional poses that we don't spend a lot of time in. And just allowing yourself to be here. You don't have to think about where we're going next. You can just be where you are. And on your next exhale, we'll release into our extended side angle. Left forearm comes on top of the left thigh. Right arm reaches forward. If you feel your chest pulling down towards the ground, think about rolling that left rib cage up to the sky. And moving back and forth with our breath. Inhaling, reverse, coming to the top of the inhale. And then exhaling, coming into your extended side angle. Bottom of the exhale. Inhaling, reverse. Exhaling, extend it. And on your inhale, come back up, warrior two. Straighten through the front leg. Start to bring both feet towards the right side of the mat. This time you can interlace your fingers behind the back. If that does not feel good in your shoulders, you can keep your hands onto the hips. Inhale, heart rises. Exhale, hinge and fold. And if your hands are interlaced, we're bringing those arms up and over the head. With every inhale, breathing into the shoulders, into the back of the neck, the head. Every exhale, releasing, letting go. Exhaling, releasing those hands down to the ground if they're interlaced. Inhale, lift halfway. Left toes point forward. We're going to walk the hands forward to frame that left foot. Coming into your runner's lunge. Just feeling this transition within your body. And as you exhale, release the right leg back. And you can move through your vinyasa. Exhale, lower all the way down. We're halfway chaturanga. Inhale into your up dog or your cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up and back, bend in the knee, open up the hip. You have the option to stay here, or you can start to flip your dog coming into wild thing. So if you're coming into wild thing, you're going to start to bend in that right foot, bring the right foot down onto the ground, lengthen through your left leg, lift your hips, lift your chest, right arm reaches forward, maybe looking over those right fingertips. And as you exhale, you can come back into your three-legged down dog. Lengthen the right leg. And then bring the right foot in between the hands. We're going to stay up onto our left toes here, so left heel lifts. Deep bend in the front knee. Inhale, coming into your high lunge. Arms reach up to frame the ears. And then we're going to start to move back and forth with the breath in our arms. Arms reach up and out to the sides, opening the chest forward. Inhale. And as we exhale, we'll bring the hands forward, palms touch. Inhale, open. And exhale, bring the hands together. One more time. Inhale, open the chest. And exhale, bring the hands together. On your next inhale, we'll open the chest, but bring the hands down to the sides. And we'll start to lift the left leg off of the ground, coming into your warrior three. So if you have your blocks, you can use them for this warrior three, coming up onto the highest height of the blocks, walking the hands forward. Left toes are pointed down and foot is flexed behind you. As you find this push-pull action in the body. So the crown of the head is pulling forward, and the left heel is pushing back behind you. And if you don't have blocks, you can bring your hands back behind you. You can bring them to heart center, or maybe bring them forward to frame the ears. Take another round of breath here. And as you exhale, left foot's going to come all the way down onto the mat behind you. You have a little bit of spacing in between your feet, like you're standing on railroad tracks. Both toes point forward or both feet point forward. Hands can come onto your hips. They can come back behind you, elbows reaching towards your elbows. Or you can bring your hands together in hidden prayer. So find your variation. As you inhale, bring the chest up to the sky, shoulders roll down the back. As you exhale, fold over the right leg. And your right hip is going to try and pop out to the side. So bring that left hip forward, right hip back. And releasing the hands, you can bring the hands down to the ground for this transition. You start to lift the left leg up and back, bringing your left knee behind your right knee. So your left heel is going to come in towards your left glute. And you can keep your hands onto the ground here. You can use your blocks here if you'd like. You can also try and lift your hands off of the ground, bringing your fingers back behind you, crown of the head reaching forward. Take another breath within this transition. And we'll start to lift up. Bring the left foot onto the inside of the right, coming into tree pose. So your left knee is going to pull out to the side. Hands can come to heart center. They can also come up to grow your branches. Bringing your right hip bone in line with your right ankle. Feeling strong and steady in your right leg. On your exhale, we'll release that left foot down and shake it out a little bit, and we'll start to sit back into our chair pose. On your exhale, we're going to twist open to the right in your chair. Inhale forward. Exhale, twist open to the left. Inhale, forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step both feet back. You can move through a vinyasa or you can step back into your downward facing dog. And once you've reached your downward facing dog, inhale, left leg rises, bend in the knee, open up the hip. You can stay here or you can start to flip into your wild thing. So this time there's a bend in your left knee, right leg is long, lift through the hips. Make sure that your right shoulder is stuck on top of your right hand. And start to flip back into your three-legged down dog. Left foot comes in between the hands, rooting down to rise up into your high lunge. Good. And moving with our breath, inhale, arms open up to the sides and back. You can look up here as we exhale, palms come together. Inhale, open, breathe down into the belly. Exhale, hands together, release all the breath. Inhale, open, and exhale, palms together. Good. And from here, we'll start to bring the arms back out to the sides and down, moving into our warrior three. So moving into this, taking it step by step, breath by breath. Right hip bone comes down towards the ground to meet the left. It really doesn't matter how high your right leg goes back behind you. Just making sure we're still level within those hips as we find that push-pull action within the body. Bring your focus to the here and now. Exhale, release the right foot back behind you, preparing for your pyramid pose, lengthening through the front leg. Bringing both feet to point forward, back heel is all the way down, finding your variation within your arms. Inhale, looking up, and exhale, folding over the left leg. Making those subtle adjustments within your hips. Feeling even distribution of weight between your feet. Releasing through the back of the neck. Exhaling, releasing the hands down towards the mat. We're going to start to bring the right knee back behind the left as we lift that right foot so it comes up towards the right glute. You can stay here, maybe use your blocks, or bring your hands back behind you. And lengthen space between your inhales and exhales. And we'll start to come up into our tree pose here. If you wobble or your leg touches the ground, that's okay. Just bring it right back in. When we face challenges, we may notice these certain thoughts come up in our minds over and over again. So we notice that when we're on the mat, when we're in challenging poses like balancing postures. Just start to notice what those thoughts are without getting caught up in them. Take a step back and just observe and watch them. Knowing that we can create awareness around those thoughts, and we have the power to change them. We have the power to release and let them go. Bring our focus back into the moment. And start to bring that right foot back down onto the mat. Shake it out. This time we're going to move into Malasana Yogi Squat. So toes are going to point out to the sides as your feet widen a little bit more than hips width distance apart. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to lower down. Bending in the knees, bringing the elbows onto the insides of the knees, gently opening through the hips. And if this is painful on your knees, you can always take a block and sit onto that block here as well. Taking in some time to maybe just ask yourself, what is one challenge that I'm going through in my life today? One change that is happening, one transition that is happening. And how can I use my breath? How can I use the awareness of my thoughts? How can I use this yoga practice to help me move through it? On your exhale, we're going to start to bring the hands back behind us and come down into a seated position. So we're going to go into heron pose here. So we're going to take one of your blocks and you're going to place your left foot back behind you like you're doing a half hero's pose. So you're going to sit back behind you onto that ankle or onto that heel, and then you're going to take your block and you're going to place it onto the underneath of your right side here. And if you don't have a block, you just try and find some balance here on that right side, trying to level the hips out. We're going to take our right foot, create a basket with our hands, interlace those fingers, and then start to bring the right ankle in line with the knee. And you can stay right here, drawing the shoulders down the back. If you'd like, you can also start to lengthen through the leg. Heart comes towards the toes. Feel the spine stack nice and tall. Exhaling, releasing the right foot back down. We'll release that block from underneath of you. And we'll bring both feet out in front of us as we move into Paschimottanasana. Seated forward fold, pulling out any flesh from underneath of you, sitting on your bones. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, start to fold here. Inhaling back up through center, and we'll move to the other side. So your right foot is going to come back behind you, and you're going to sit back onto that heel here. And if you have a block, you can start to bring that block underneath of your left glute. And then start to bring your left foot in towards the body, bringing those hands underneath the foot, coming into your 90-degree bend or lengthening through the leg. Again, this is a pretty challenging posture, and that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that we are allowing ourselves to sit within something that is difficult or something that we may not have dealt with before. Taking our time to sit with it, to breathe into it, to just be with it. Without judging it, without attaching to it. Just fully being here. And exhale, release the foot back down, release the block, and we'll bring our feet back out in front of us. Come into another seated forward fold. As we inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. And on your next inhale, coming up into your seated position. And we'll start to make our way down onto our backs, bringing the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the fronts of the shins, and gently rock from side to side here. And bringing your arms out into either cactus shape or your T shape. We'll bring both legs over to the right side of the mat, stacking the knees on top of each other. Left shoulder stays rooted down towards the ground. You can take your right hand and place it onto the outside of your legs, gently helping you to twist. You can also leave that arm out to the side if that feels better for you. Either looking over the left fingertips or closing your eyes, keeping the head straight here. Finding your variation within this moment, within how your body feels today. Inhaling, coming back through center. And as you exhale, gently releasing the left leg and the right over to the left side here. Releasing both legs over to the left side. Breathing into the lower back, the hips, the legs, the feet. Feeling the top of the inhalation and exhaling, releasing, softening, letting go as you reach the bottom of the exhalation. Inhaling back to center, wrapping the arms around the fronts of the shins, hugging the body, thanking it for bringing you through your practice today. And as you exhale, releasing into your Shavasana, extending the arms and the legs, bringing the palms face up as we close the eyes. Taking this time to absorb all the benefits of your practice. This reading is called Honor This Time of Change. Times of change are holy. We may not know where we're going. It may not feel like our feet are on solid ground. They aren't. We're crossing a bridge to another part of our lives. Sometimes we may find ourselves at this bridge unwittingly, not certain how we got there, not certain we want to cross. Other times we may have sought, prayed for, hoped for, longed for this time of change. You don't have to understand it all right now. Information and understanding will come later. You'll get to the other side. For now, trust and experience what you're going through, and know that this time of change is sacred too. Gently starting to breathe a little more fully in and out of the body. Moving through the fingers, the toes. And making your way over to one side of the body. Taking a moment in this transition between the end of your practice and the beginning of the rest of your day. Inhaling up into your comfortable seated position with your eyes closed and your hands at heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice. This light within me honors and sees the light within you. Namaste.